Okay. Sweet. We live in both places now. Okay, beautiful people. Y'all, I am so excited about today. I am so excited about starting the Book of Enoch today, and I found the perfect. Let me tell y'all something. This book came right on time, and I did not realize all the details that it gave about Enoch. Did you feel something? Something moving on your phone? No. Tiffany, you hear noise? Y'all hear background noise? It's better. You know, it was probably from me clicking when I was trying to. You probably heard. Was it this? Was it that noise, Tiffany? That's probably what it was, because all these things kept popping up. Because I didn't check my messages yesterday, so all the things kept popping up when I opened up my laptop. Sounded like wind. No, I don't have the fan on. I don't know. I don't know what you heard, Tiffany. It sounded like wind. I don't know. Maybe it was something supernatural. I don't know. Let me tell y'all something. Hold on. 6, 7. Y'all, this reading today. If y'all ain't never stayed for no reading, stay for this one today. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Aliyah. Let me tell y'all. These details I'm about to give y'all about Enoch. After we read these first, let's say these first 7 chapters. And I say 7 chapters because the first few chapters in Enoch, they're like a couple verses. So it's going to go real fast. Like I reread it this morning. I read it in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started after I introduce the day. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is December the 8th, 2020, day 18 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 687. And today we are going to read Enoch chapters 1 through, did I say 7? We're going to read 8. 1 through 8. And it's literally going to take me about 10 minutes. Please don't stop it when it gets starting to get interesting, when it starts to get too interesting. Yeah, because I was thinking about some of this stuff. I was like, oh, Father, I know some of them may be ready for some of this, but some of them may not be ready for some of this based on what they've already studied. So with Enoch, I think we're okay, because if you read through the book of Enoch, you're going to be okay with this. And you're going to see, right? It's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Like if you were ever able to read the book of Revelation and get through Revelation, you should have no problem with getting through the book of Enoch, right? And if you've gotten at least through the book of Enoch at least one time, then these other details that were withheld, you ain't gonna have a problem with it, right? Not saying it ain't nothing crazy, but if somebody like hasn't read the book of Revelation or whatever, they just now, I don't know, but I can see how possibly why some things have been withheld, right? And not saying that it's crazy, but based on how I've grown over the years, over the last few years, I may not have been ready for some of this stuff, but it's nothing that's like, oh shoot, what did they just say? Nothing like, I'm out of here. You know, it ain't nothing like that, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, that's Wabu, Nikki, that's Wabu. Okay, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started here. It's gonna take me about 10 minutes for real to read through. Look at this. It's like 2 pages, right? This is Enoch chapter 1 through 8. So we're gonna read Enoch chapter 1 through 8, and then we're gonna jump right over to where the details, the deeper details even found in here are found at. We're gonna jump over there. Okay, so y'all, okay, here we go. Enoch chapter 1. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and righteous, who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the unrighteous and wicked. Enoch, a righteous man, whom with Yahuwah answered and spoke while his eyes were open, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens. Now remember, if this is your first time listening to the book of Enoch, remember the Bible literally only gives maybe, I didn't count, but it's like 3 to 5 sentences about Enoch, if that much. It tells you who he was born to and how he was a righteous man and how Yahuwah took him and he was no more because he was so righteous, right? The Book of Enoch tells us more than what the Bible tells us, and the book Legends of the Jews tells us more in some places that is not told to us in the Book of Enoch. Okay, just in case you didn't know. Okay, this the angels showed me. From them I heard all things and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period on the account of the elect. So remember, all these things that Enoch is being shown is not even for his time. He saw what was going to happen for his time, but he saw what was going to happen many generations later. He said at a distant time. And I believe he's talking about our time based on a lot of the things that I now know. Okay. Upon their account, I spoke and conversed with him who will go forth from his habitation, the holy and mighty one, the God of the world, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. All shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be immerged, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon all the righteous. But to them, to the righteous, to them he shall give peace. He shall guard the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Then shall all belong to Yahuwah, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of Yahuwah shall illuminate them. Enoch chapter 2. Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment upon them and destroy the wicked and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and wicked have done and committed against him. That was 2 verses. That's the end of chapter 2. And if y'all have, this probably sounded familiar to y'all because you also hear this. You hear a bit of what's written in Enoch and the book of Revelation, right? So this is chapter 2, which is 1 verse. We hear in the book of Revelation, right? It's trying to connect you. Enoch chapter 3. All who are in the heavens know what is, listen, all those who are in the heavens know what is transacted, that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, even everyone at its proper period, without transgressing the commands. They behold the earth and understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it. It just said everybody who occupies the heavens knows what's happening and what's going to happen here on earth for all generations. They know from the beginning to the end of it. That every work of Yahuwah is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and the rain refresh it. Enoch chapter 4. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except for 14 trees, which are not deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new for 2 or 3 winters. Enoch chapter 5. Again, they consider the days of summer, that the sun is upon it at its very beginning, while you seek for a cover and shady spot on the account of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up with fervent heat, and you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. Now, we know summer can get that hot, and as the years have progressed, summers are getting hotter. Enoch chapter 6. They consider how the trees, when they put forth their green leaves, become covered, produce fruit, and understanding everything, and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you, that the works at the beginning of every existing year, that all his works are subservient to him and invariable. Yet as Yahuwah has appointed, so are all things brought to pass. They see, too, how the seas and the rivers together complete their respective operations. Guys, this talks about the oceans. Hold on. Let me finish this, y'all. You endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of Yahuwah, but you transgress and calumniate greatness, and malignant are the words in your polluted mouths against his majesty. You withered in heart, no peace shall be to you. Therefore your days shall curse you, and the years of your lives shall perish. Perpetual execration shall be multiplied, and you shall not obtain mercy. In those days shall you resign your peace with the eternal maledictions of all the righteous, and sinners shall perpetually execrate you with the wicked. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. Remember how when we was reading through how it always tells us that the righteous inherit the earth? It talks about how the wicked are rooted out, but the righteous get the gift of staying here and occupying the earth as it's being renewed, right? The righteous inherit the earth. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. But you, unholy, shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, all of whom shall live, and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. They shall not be condemned the whole period of their lives, not die in torment and indignation, but the sum of their days shall be completed, and they shall grow old in peace, while the years of their happiness shall be multiplied with joy and with peace forever, the whole duration of their existence. Enoch chapter 7. Oh, yeah, we're about to get to it. We're about to get to it. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the watchers, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, "Come, let us select for ourselves women from the progeny of men, and let us beget children." Their leader, Semyaza, said unto them, "I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime." But they answered him and said, "We all swear, we bind ourselves by mutual execrations, that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking." Then they swore all together and bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200 who descended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Hermon. That mountain, therefore, was called Hermon because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual execrations. These are the names of their chiefs. Excuse me if I screw these names up, y'all. Okay. These are the names of their chiefs. Semyaza, who was their leader, Urakabaramel, Akibael, Tamiel, Ramuel, Daniel, Askiel, Sarakinel, Asael, Armers, Batraal, Ani, Zavabi, Samsavel, Ertael, Turil, Yomayael, Azarael. These were the prefects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Then they took women, each choosing for himself, whom they began to approach and with whom they cohabited, teaching them sorcery, incantations, and the dividing of roots and trees. And the women, conceiving, brought forth giants, and they bore them 3 races first, the great giants. The giants brought forth the Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Eliud. And they existed, increasing in power according to their greatness, whose stature was each 300 cubits. These devour all the labor of men until it became impossible to feed them. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, to eat one another's flesh and to drink their blood, then the earth reproved the unrighteousness. Okay, y'all, last chapter of Enoch, Enoch chapter 8, and it's only 9 verses. Moreover, Azael taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of the eyebrows, the stone of every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. Amazarach taught all the sorcerers and the dividers of roots. Armers, the solution of sorcery. Barca, the observers of the stars. Akibael science, Tamiel taught astronomy, and Esaradael taught the motion of the moon. And men being destroyed cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. Okay, y'all. Now, that was Enoch chapter 1 through 8. Took us less than 10 minutes to read it because they're only a few verses each. So let's hop over here to where we find the deeper details of what happened. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know when I'm going to read it to y'all, but if y'all are inclined to go get this, which is full of the holy word of Yah, just change the name on it. Remember, when things are destroyed, when they destroyed the books of the people, some of them they actually destroyed by fire or whatever. Some were thrown into seas, but some were destroyed. Remember, we talked about the word destroyed all the time. Doesn't mean poof, pow, be gone like Sodom and Gomorrah. But sometimes destroyed can mean that you come in and you take over and you change the names of everything. We've seen that done in history quite a lot. When certain kings and authority and coup d'etats come in, they usurp the current authority. They take over everything. They begin changing the names, naming it after themselves. Right. So I believe this is one of the ones, although the title of it, it doesn't say like Holy Bible, but as you read it, you can clearly tell that this is the holy word of Yah. It has the name, the Legends of the Jews. Remember, if you look up this word legend has multiple meanings. But a lot of time here in the Western world, we think, oh, fictional stories. But if you look up the word legend, it also tells you that these are not just stories that are fictional, but they are stories about people from ancient times, right? Okay. So now that I said that, oh, and if you didn't get the name of the book, it's The Legends of the Jews. And this is the complete edition with all the volumes added. You can actually get it. It's 4 volumes in this one. That's why it's about 500 pages, because all 4 of the books are combined into one. You can get it from Amazon. It's The Legend of the Jews. This is the complete edition by Louis Ginzberg, right? It was done in 1909. But as you read through it, and if you're very familiar, if you've been here the last 3 years with us while we've been reading through the Bible, getting our solid foundation from the Bible that's accessible to everyone, if you got this and you've been paying attention to how I'm connecting the pieces for you, you will clearly see where all of this stuff fits in. And some of the questions I want to answer for some of y'all right now, but I know some people are new and they might not be able to handle some of the truth. So I'm like, Father, give me wisdom, because as soon as I find out something, I want to run and tell everybody, hey, look, did y'all know? But and some of this stuff I know to be true based on supernatural personal experiences I have myself experienced in my own body with some of this stuff. Like one of the questions that a lot of us have asked, and quite a few of you and some people that aren't here anymore have asked, even on this video, about some of the things that happened in the very beginning. And some of you who was laws on where, well, wouldn't that seem to be this? Well, how does that happen? And if there was one man and one woman, where did all these people come from? And the Bible talks about things, and it makes you ask questions. Okay, where did Cain get his wife from? It said he got his wife, from the land of Nod. Okay, we got Adam and Eve, and they had Cain and Abel. They killed Abel, and it was Cain. Cain left, and he went and found a wife in the land of Nod. Who was there, bruh? The Legends of the Jews. Okay, these people are into lashes, girl, ain't they? Some of them, let me tell you, some of this, the makeup and stuff, although they introduced it, I'm not against makeup, but sometimes people use makeup as, just think about it. Some of these people who are deciding they want to be another gender, they're using makeup and they're covering themselves. So not that people who use makeup are using it to bewitch others, but makeup can be used to bewitch others. Like you really don't know if you are looking at a woman or a man who is in disguise, who has made himself up. Because some of these makeup tutorials that I've looked at, they are getting scary. I'm like, that was a man. It's freaky crazy. All right, but I think that's what it's talking about. Not people that maybe some light blush or something or whatever, but I'm just saying Beautifying of the eyebrows as in waxing razors down. Yeah, they do everything. Okay, listen, let's get into this. Because we could get off on to other conversations and stuff, but let's just stick with this today. Because I know some people came in to hear the details about Enoch's life. Y'all, listen to this. Okay, so y'all got the name of it. I listed yesterday. You can get it from Amazon. I think I got this. This is paperback. I paid like $20 for it. But remember, Amazon keeps they pay attention when something becomes in high demand, the prices start shooting up. So, but if you can't get the hardback, I think you can download the different volumes from Kindle for like $5, but okay, listen. All right, y'all. Yeah. Natasha, I agree. Aliyah, there are some stories in here. Yeah, but didn't the book say Cain married his sister, from which Eve had many daughters? That's what it says. And what was that? Jubilees or Jasher? There are some conflicting stories. And remember when I said it's going to make sense. It seems like that conflicts. But remember I said when we read something and it seems like it's conflicting or it's not adding up, it's either because it possibly is, but it could possibly mean that we are missing some information. Now, what I have come to understand is we are missing some information on the beginning, on the people, right? Okay, we're not going to get into that today, but if you go ahead and get this, you can read ahead. It just, I'm saying some people have to be, you can't just come out with some stuff with some people. You have to build them up and give them the layers of truth so they can see the story progress. And so I'm trying to be good about doing that to where people aren't thrown off. But wait a minute, so some things need to be built up. Just like in math, you have to learn skills in order to understand some of the higher formulas and stuff. It starts down here with basic addition and subtraction. Then you graduate to multiplication and division. I think it's the same way with this because it has been so ripped apart and scattered in many different pieces. I think there's different levels, stairs we have to go through to see how it all flows together. Okay. All right. Okay. So enough of that. Back to this. Okay. Enoch, ruler and teacher. After Enoch had lived a long time secluded from men, he once heard the voice of an angel calling to him, Enoch, Enoch, make thyself ready and leave the house and the secret place wherein thou hast kept thyself hidden, and assume dominion over men, to teach them the ways in which they should walk and the deeds which they shall do, in order that they may walk in the ways of Yahuwah. And you will see as we're reading this, if you're familiar with the story of Enoch and Jasher, you will see how it looks like some of this comes from his word for word, but it fills in other details that were not added. Okay. Enoch left his retreat and betook himself to the haunts of men. He gathered them about and instructed them in the conduct pleasing to Yahuwah. And he sent messengers all over to announce, ye who desire to know the ways of Yahuwah and righteous conduct, come ye to Enoch. Thereupon a vast concourse of people thronged about him to hear the wisdom he would teach and learn from his mouth what is good and right. Even kings and princes, no less than 130 in number, assembled about him and submitted themselves to his dominion, to be taught and guided by him, as he taught and guided all the others. Peace reigns thus over the whole world, all the 243 years during the influence of Enoch. Peace reigned thus over the whole world, all the 243 years during which the influence of Enoch prevailed. And we know that's the correct number because over in Jasher, it tells us that he reigned over men 243 years, right? At the expiration of this period, in the year which Adam died, Adam was still alive when Enoch was here. Pay attention. At the expiration of this period, in the year in which Adam died and was buried with great honors by Seth, Enoch, and Methuselah, Enoch resolved to retire again from intercourse with men. Intercourse here means conversation, not actual sexual relations, but intercourse with men, having conversation. Shalom, shalom, mother. At the expiration of this period, in the year which Adam died and was buried with great honors by Seth, Enoch, and Methuselah, Enoch resolved to retire again from intercourse with men and devote himself wholly to the service of Yah. But he withdrew gradually. First, he would spend 3 days in prayer and praise of Yah, and on the fourth day, he would return to his disciples and grant them instruction. Many years passed thus, and he appeared among them but once a week, later, once a month, and finally, once a year. The kings, princes, and all the others who were desirous of seeing Enoch and hearkening to his words did not venture to come close to him during the times of his retirement. Such awful majesty sat upon his countenance, they feared for their very life if they but looked at him. They therefore resolved that all men should prefer their request before Enoch on the day he showed himself unto them. He said, look, this man so holy, and he carries the Shekinah upon him that if we even look, he carries so much of the Shekinah upon him that even if we look at him, we might die. So let us wait patiently. When he ready to come out here and talk to us and everything, y'all write down y'all questions and stuff. Because when he come, that's when we're going to ask. When we go looking for him, he going to wait till he find us worthy for him to show himself to us. That's what they were saying in a nutshell. They therefore resolved that all men should prefer their request before Enoch on the day he showed himself unto them. The impression made by the teachings of Enoch upon all who heard them were powerful. They prostrated themselves before him and cried, long live the king, long live the king. On a certain day, while Enoch was giving audience to his followers, an angel appeared and made known unto him that Yahuwah had resolved to install him as king over the angels in heaven, as until then he had reigned over men. He called together all the inhabitants of the earth and addressed them thus: I have been summoned to ascend into heaven, and I know not the day whither I shall go thither. Therefore I will teach you wisdom and righteousness before I go. A few days yet Enoch spent among men, and all the time left to him he gave instruction in wisdom, knowledge, God-fearing conduct, and piety, and established law and order for the regulation of the affairs of men. Then those gathered near him saw a gigantic steed descend from the skies, and they told Enoch of it, who said, the steed is for me, for the time has come, and the day when I will leave you, never again to be seen. So it was. The steed approached Enoch, and he mounted upon his back, and all the time instructing the people, exhorting them, enjoining them to serve Yahuwah and walk in his ways. 800,000 of the people followed a day's journey after him. But on the second day, Enoch urged his retinue to turn back. Go ye home, lest death overtake you, if you follow me farther. Most of them heeded his words and went back, but a number remained with him for 6 days, though he admonished them daily to return and not to bring death down upon themselves. On the 6th day of the journey, he said to all those still accompanying him, go ye home, for on the morrow I shall ascend into heaven, and whosoever will then be near me, he will die. Nevertheless, some of his companions remained with him, saying, whithersoever thou goest, we will go. By the living God, death alone shall not part us. On the 7th day, Enoch was carried into the heavens in a fiery chariot drawn by fiery chargers. The day thereafter, the kings who had turned back in good time sent messengers to inquire into the fate of the men who had refused to separate themselves from Enoch, for they had noted the number of them. They found snow and great hailstones upon the spot whence Enoch had risen. And when they had searched beneath, they discovered the bodies of all those who remained behind with Enoch. He alone was not among them. He was on high in heaven. Now, when we read Enoch, we see that there was snow. And I personally think, don't quote me on this, y'all, the point where Enoch was taken, based on some of the things that I now know that I don't have time to give you details of, I think Enoch was taken from the point in Antarctica. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying I've been thinking about this and looking at some of this stuff, right? Okay. They found snow and great hailstones upon the spot whence Enoch had risen. And when he searched beneath, they discovered the bodies of all who had remained behind with Enoch. He alone was not among them. He was on high in heaven. Okay, now this is about to talk about the ascension of Enoch, right? Pay attention, y'all. This is getting good. This was not the first time Enoch had been in heaven. Once before, while he sojourned among men, he had been permitted to see all there is on earth and in the heavens. On a time when he was sleeping, a great grief came upon his heart, and he wept in his dream, not knowing what the grief meant, nor what would happen to him. And after, and there appeared unto him two men very tall. Their faces shone like the sun, and their eyes were like burning lamps, and fire came forth from their lips. Their wings were brighter than gold, their hands whiter than snow. They stood at the head of Enoch's bed and called him by his name. He awoke from his sleep and hastened and made obeisance to them and was terrified. And these men said unto him, Be of good cheer, Enoch, be not afraid. The everlasting God has sent us to thee, and lo, today thou shalt ascend with us into heaven, and tell thy sons and thy servants, let none seek thee till Yahuwah bring thee back. Enoch did as he was told, and after he had spoken to his sons and instructed them not to turn aside from Yahuwah and to keep his judgment, these two men summoned him and took him on their wings and placed him on the clouds, which moved higher and higher. So they set him down in the first heaven. Okay, remember yesterday I read y'all the portion where it told us about the layers of heaven. Remember, if y'all ever grew up and y'all heard about there's 7 heavens, what I read to you yesterday at the end of yesterday's reading goes into detail not only about the 7 layers that reaches up to the 7th heaven, of which the first heaven we can see, man can see, who dwells on earth can see with their own eyes, the sky and stuff. This is considered the first heaven and the layers above. But not only did we read about that, we read about the layers of earth, on which we are on the 7th layer of earth. And it tells about the preceding layers from the 6th all the way down to the 1st and what resides in those places. And y'all think about this. As we're reading this, I want y'all to think about some of the things that we know that has been happening in today in the world that we live. Some of the stuff that we know that scientists are doing, it begins to make sense on what they're truly looking for. Okay? Just pay attention to some of this stuff, right? All right. Here, they showed him 200 angels who rule the stars and their heavenly service. Here, he saw also the treasuries of snow and ice, of clouds and dew. From there, they took him to the 2nd heaven, where he saw the fallen angels in prison, they who obeyed not the commandments of Yahuwah and took counsel of their own will. The fallen angel said to Enoch, O man of God, pray for us to Yahuwah. And he answered, Who am I, a mortal man, that I should pray for angels? Who knows whither I go or what awaits me? They took him from thence to the 3rd heaven, where they showed him paradise, with all the trees of beautiful colors, and their fruits ripe and luscious, and all kinds of food which they produce, springing up with delightful fragrance. In the midst of paradise, he saw the tree of life, in that place in which Yahuwah rests when he comes into paradise. This tree cannot be described for its excellence and sweet fragrance, and it is beautiful more than any created thing. And on all its sides, it is like golden crimson in appearance and transparent as fire, and it covers everything. From its root in the garden, there go forth 4 streams, which pour out honey, milk, oil, and wine, and they go down to the paradise of Eden that lies on the confines between the earthly region of corruptibility and the heavenly region of incorruptibility, and thence they go along the earth. And he also saw the 300 angels who keep the garden, and with never ceasing voices and bless, singing, they serve Yahuwah every day. The angels leading Enoch explained to him that this place is prepared for the righteous, while the terrible place prepared for the sinners is in the northern regions of the 3rd heaven. He saw there all sorts of tortures and impenetrable gloom, and there is no light there, but a gloomy fire is always burning. And if you've read through the book of Enoch, Enoch describes these places. Yeah, the realm of the dead is one. Natasha, you're right. Antarctica has always been an interesting place when it comes to its existence. World War II, Hitler and the Soviets started the war of insults due to this place, and it's also the border of the firmament. You're absolutely right. Aliyah, you're absolutely right. I know that to be true based on my studies. Okay. He saw there all sorts of tortures and impenetrable gloom, and there is no light there, but a gloomy fire is always burning. And all that place has fire on all sides, and on all sides cold and ice. Thus it burns and freezes. And the angels, terrible and without pity, carry savage weapons, and their torture is unmerciful. So as I'm reading through this, I think about some of the people and some of their encounters, and some of their dreams where they describe some of these things. At first, I used to be like, that's such detail. How can I deny that? Not that I, at that point, that I knew it was true, but I wouldn't dare talk about it, because how can you tell somebody that they didn't experience what they experienced, right? So those things I just kind of wonder about and keep to myself, because I don't dare talk about something that could truly be from Yah. But a lot of times we don't understand because we're ignorant on it, because it's not our personal experience. We don't understand. So here's something, a good piece of advice to remember. If you haven't been following already from this point for the rest of your life, if you don't quite understand something, don't dare speak against it, because it truly could be of Yah. Now that I understand this and some of the things that I read through him, I'm like, oh, Father, if I have ever spoken out of turn, forgive me, because, okay, let me just keep going. Yeah, so much things been hidden from us. Okay, let me finish reading, y'all. Okay, I'll just go back up here. He saw there all sorts of tortures and impenetrable gloom, and there is no light there, but a gloomy fire is always burning, and all that place has fire on all sides, and on all sides cold and ice. Thus it burns and freezes. And the angels, terrible and without pity, carry savage weapons, and their torture is unmerciful. The angels took him then to the fourth heaven, and showed him all the comings in and goings forth, and all the rays of the light of the sun and the moon. He saw the 15 myriads of angels who go out with the sun and attend to him during the day, and the 1,000 angels who attend to him by night. We're going to get into how the sun and the moon runs their course. I'm like, I know. Okay, I'll read this again. He saw the 15 myriads of angels who go out with the sun and attend him during the day, and the 1,000 angels who attend him by night. Each angel has 6 wings, and they go before the chariot of the sun, while 100 angels keep the sun warm and light it up. He also saw the wonderful and strange creature named phoenixes and chalkidri, who attend the chariot of the sun and go with him, bringing heat and dew. They showed him also the 6 gates in the east of the fourth heaven, by which the sun goes forth, and the 6 gates in the west where he sets, and also the gates with which the moon goes out, and those by which she enters. Okay, remember, in Enoch, it talks about the course of the sun and the moon and the gates that he and she, remember, the sun is referred to as a he, and the moon is in female fashion referred to as she, right? Okay, so this right here is talking about what we read about, well, what we will read about in Enoch, about the different gates and portals that the sun and the moon go through as it runs its course throughout the year, okay? And they never depart from their course that Yahuwah has set them to, okay? They showed him also the 6 gates in the east of the fourth heaven, by which the sun goes forth, and the 6 gates in the west where he sets, and also the gates by which the moon goes out, and those by which she enters. In the middle of the fourth heaven, he saw an armed host serving Yahuwah with cymbals and organs and unceasing voices. In the fifth heaven, he saw many hosts of angels called Grigori. Their appearance was like men, and their size was greater than the size of giants. Their countenance were withered, and their lips silent. On his question who they were, the angels leading him answered, "These are the Grigori, who with their prince Salamiel rejected the Holy Lord." Enoch then said to the Grigori, "Why wait ye, brethren, and serve ye not before the face of Yahuwah? And why perform ye not your duties before the face of Yahuwah, and anger not your Lord to the end?" The Grigori listened to the rebuke, and when the trumpets resounded together with a loud call, they also began to sing with one voice, and their voices went forth before Yahuwah with sadness and tenderness. In the seventh heaven, he saw the 7 bands of archangels who arranged and study the revolutions of the stars and the changes of the moon and the revolution of the sun, and superintend the good or evil conditions in the world. And they arrange teachings and instructions and sweet speaking and singing and all kinds of glorious praise. They hold in subjection all living things, both in heaven and on earth. In the midst of them are seven phoenixes, the seven cherubim, the seven winged creatures, singing with one voice. When Enoch reached the seventh heaven, he saw all the fiery hosts of great archangels and incorporeal powers and lordships and principalities and powers. He was afraid and trembled with great terror. Those leading him took hold of him and brought him into the midst of them and said to him, "Be of good cheer, Enoch, be not afraid." And they showed him Yahuwah from afar off, sitting on his lofty throne, while all the heavenly hosts, divided in 10 classes, having approached, stood on the 10 steps according to their rank, and made obeisance to Yahuwah. And they proceeded to their places in joy and mirth and boundless light, singing songs with low and gentle voices, and glorious serving him. They leave not nor depart day or night, standing before the face of Yahuwah, working his will, cherubim and seraphim standing around his throne, and the six winged creatures overshadow all his throne, singing with a soft voice before the face of Yahuwah. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Heaven and earth are full of his glory. And he, seeing all these things, the angels leading him, said to him, Enoch, up to this time, Bella, chill. Enoch, up to this time, we were ordered to accompany thee. They departed, and he saw them no more. Enoch remained at the extremity of the seventh heaven in great terror, saying to himself, Woe is me, what has come upon me? Then Gabriel came and said unto him, Enoch, be not afraid. Stand up and come with me, and stand up before the face of Yahuwah forever. And Enoch answered, O my Lord, my spirit has departed from me with fear and trembling. Call the men to me who have brought me to this place. Upon them I have relied, and with them I will go before the face of Yahuwah. and Gabriel hurried him away like a leaf carried off by wind, and set him before the face of Yahuwah. Enoch fell down and worshipped Yahuwah, who said to him, Enoch, be not afraid. Rise up and stand before my face forever. And Michael lifted him up at the command of his Lord, took his earthly robe from him, and anointed him with the holy oil, and clothed him. When he gazed upon himself, he looked like one of Yahuwah's glorious ones, and fear and trembling departed from him. Yahuwah called then one of his archangels, who was more wise than all the others. He wrote down all the doings of Yahuwah, and he said to him, Bring forth the books from my store place, and give a reed to Enoch, and interpret the books to him. The angel did as he was commanded, and he instructed Enoch 30 days and 30 nights, and his lips never ceased speaking, while Enoch was writing down all the things about heaven and earth, angels and men, and all that is suitable to be instructed in. He also wrote down all about the souls of men, those of them which are not born, and the places prepared for them forever. He copied all accurately, and he wrote 366 books. And we got all these? All right, babe. Love you. We're missing some of these books clearly. Okay. He copied all accurately, and he wrote 366 books. After he had received all the instructions from the archangel, Yahuwah revealed unto him great secrets which even the angels do not know. He told him how out of the lowest darkness the visible and invisible were created, how he formed heaven, light, water, and earth, and also the fall of Satan and the creation of sin and Adam. He narrated to him, and further revealed to him that the duration of the world will be 7,000 years, and the 8th millennium will be a time when there is no computation, no end, neither years, nor months, nor weeks, nor days, nor hours. Yahuwah finished this revelation to Enoch with the words, And now I give thee Sumail and Raguel, who brought thee to me. Go with them upon the earth, and tell thy sons what things I have said to thee, and what thou hast seen from the lowest heaven up to my throne. Give them the works written out by thee, and they shall read them, and they shall distribute the books to their children's children, from generation to generation, and from nation to nation. Whew, y'all. I'm getting teary. Give me a second. Pull yourself together, Pam. Okay. Okay. And from generation to generation, and from nation to nation. And I will give thee my messenger Michael for thy writings, and for the writings of thy fathers, Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, and Jared thy father. And I shall not require them till the last age, for I have instructed my two angels, Aruk and Maruk, who I have put upon the earth as their guardians. And I have ordered them, Bella, you got to turn it down. Thank you. For I have instructed my two angels, Aruk and Maruk, whom I have put upon the earth as their guardians, and I have ordered them in time to guard them, that the account of what I shall do in thy family may not be lost in the deluge to come. Remember, the flood hasn't come yet. For on account of the wickedness and iniquity of men, I will bring a deluge upon the earth, and I will destroy all. But I will leave a righteous man of thy race with all his house, who shall act according to my will. From their seed will be raised up a numerous generation on the extinction of that family. I will show them the books of thy writings and of thy father, and of the guardians of them on earth will show them to the men who are true and please me. And they shall tell to another generation, and they, having read them, shall be glorified the last more than before. Enoch was then sent to earth to remain there for 30 days to instruct his sons. But before he left heaven, Yahuwah sent an angel to him, with whose appearance was like snow, and his hands were like ice. Enoch looked at him, and his face, Bella, chill. Don't pop that. I'm almost done reading. The angels who took him to heaven, I skipped the whole sentence, I'm sorry. Enoch looked at him, and his face was chilled, that men might be able to endure the sight of him. The angels who took him from heaven put him upon his bed in the place where his son Methuselah was expecting him by day and night. Enoch assembled his sons and all his household, and instructed them faithfully about all the things he had seen, heard, and written down. And he gave his books to his sons to keep them and read them, admonishing them not to conceal the books. Listen, admonishing them not to conceal the books, but tell them to all desiring to know. When the 30 days had been completed, Yahuwah sent darkness upon the earth, and there was gloom, and it hid the men standing with Enoch. And the angels hastened and took Enoch and carried him to the highest heaven, where Yahuwah received him and set him before his face. And the darkness departed from the earth, and there was light. And the people saw and did not understand how Enoch was taken, and they glorified Yahuwah. Enoch was born on the 6th day of the month of Siwan, and he was taken up to heaven in the same month. Siwan on the same day and in the same hour when he was born. And Methuselah hastened to all his brethren, the sons of Enoch, and built an altar in the place called Achuzan, whence Enoch was taken up to heaven. The elders and all the people came to the festivity and brought their gifts to the sons of Enoch, and made a great festivity, rejoicing and being merry for 3 days, praising Yahuwah, who had given such a sign by means of Enoch, who had found favor with them. Okay, y'all, that's the last section about Enoch right here. The translation of Enoch. Oh, you just answered. To be clear, this was the first time he was taken. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I answered it. Okay. She was asking, was this the first time Enoch was taken? It told us back here that when he was taken, that wasn't the first time he had been to heaven. And they went on to describe when he was the very first time he went. Okay. The translation of Enoch. The sinfulness of men was the reason why Enoch was translated to heaven. Thus Enoch himself told Rabbi Ishmael, when the generation of the deluge transgressed and spoke to Yahuwah, saying, depart from us, for we do not desire to know thy ways, Enoch was carried to heaven to serve there as a witness that Yahuwah was not a cruel God, in spite of the destruction decreed upon all living beings upon the earth. When Enoch, under the guidance of the angel Anipiel, was carried from earth to heaven, the holy beings, the Ophanim, the Seraphim, the Cherubim, and all those who move the throne of Yahuwah, and the ministering spirits whose substance is of a consuming fire. Y'all, tomorrow I'm going to read y'all what these ministering spirits do. And, okay, I'm going to read that tomorrow. It's so good. Okay. And the ministering spirits whose substance is of consuming fire, they all, at the distance of 650,300,000 parasangs, noticed the presence of a human being, and they exclaimed, whence the odor of one born of woman? How comes he into the highest heaven of the fire coruscating angels? But Yahuwah replied, O my servants and hosts, ye, my cherubim, Ophanim, and seraphim, let this not be an offense to you. For all the children of men denied me and my mighty dominion, and they paid homage to the idols. So I transferred the Shekinah from earth to heaven. But this man Enoch is the elect of men. He has more faith, justice, and righteousness than all the rest, and he is the only reward I have derived from the terrestrial world. Before Enoch could be admitted to service near the divine throne, the gates of wisdom were opened unto him, and the gates of understanding and of discernment, of life, peace, and the Shekinah, of strength and power, of might, loveliness, and grace, of humility and fear of sin, equipped by Yahuwah with extraordinary wisdom, sagacity, judgment, knowledge, learning, compassionateness, love, kindness, grace, humility, strength, power, might, splendor, beauty, shapeliness, and all other excellent qualities beyond the endowment of any of the celestial beings. Enoch received besides many thousand blessings from Yahuwah, and his height and his breadth became equal to the height and the breadth of the world, and 36 wings were attached to his body, to the right and to the left, each as large as the world, and 365,000 eyes were. Ooh, wait a minute. I just thought about something. Hold on. Let me check into that before I say that. Y'all might have got it. Hold on. Okay. Enoch receives besides many thousand blessings from Yahuwah, and his height and his breadth became equal to the height and the breadth of the world, and 36 wings were attached to his body, to the right and to the left, each as large as the world, and 365,000 eyes were bestowed upon him, each as brilliant as the sun. A magnificent throne was erected for him beside the gates of the seventh celestial palace, and a herald proclaimed throughout the heavens concerning him, who was henceforth to be called Metatron in the celestial regions. So remember, we read about we're going to read about Metatron here in a few days in the Book of Enoch. Remember this. Who was henceforth to be called Metatron in the celestial regions. I have appointed my servant Metatron as prince in chief over all the princes in my realm, with the exception only of the 8 august and exalted princes that bear my name. Whatever angel has a request to prefer to me, he shall appear before Metatron, and what he will command at my bidding ye must observe and do. For the Prince of Wisdom and the Prince of Understanding are at his service, and they will reveal unto him the sciences of the celestials and the terrestrials, the knowledge of the present order of the world, and the knowledge of the future order of the world. Furthermore, I have made him the guardian of the treasures of the palaces in heaven, Arabat, and of the treasures of life that are in the highest heaven. Out of the love he bore Enoch, Yahuwah arrayed him in a magnificent garment, to which every kind of luminary in existence was attached, and a crown gleaming forth 49 jewels, the splendor of which pierced to all parts of the seven heavens and to the four corners of the earth. In the presence of the heavenly family, he set his crown upon the head of Enoch and called him the little Lord. It bears also the letters by means of which heaven and earth were created, and the seas and rivers, mountains and valleys, planets and constellations, lightning and thunder, snow and hail, storm and whirlwind, these and also all things needed in the world, and the mysteries of creation. Even the princes of heavens, when they see Metatron, tremble before him and prostrate themselves. His magnificent majesty and splendor and beauty radiating from him overwhelm them. Even the wicked Samael, the greatest of them, even Gabriel, the angel of fire, Bardiel, the angel of hail, Ruhel, the angel of wind, Barkiel, the angel of lightning, Zamael, the angel of the hurricane, Zakael, the angel of the storm, Sauel, the angel of the earthquake. So think about these things. When they happen in the earth, there are angels attached to each function for everything that is to happen here on this earth. Okay? Zachiel, the angel of the storm, Suiel, the angel of the earthquake, Zaphael, the angel of the showers, Ramael, the angel of the thunder, Rashael, the angel of the whirlwind, Shagiel, the angel of the snow, Matriel, the angel of the rain, Shamshiel, the angel of the day, Liliel, the angel of the night, Gal Gliel, the angel of the solar system, Ophaniel, the angel of the wheel of the moon, Kokabiel, the angel of the stars, and Ratiel, the angel of the constellations. When Enoch was transformed into Metatron, his body was turned into celestial fire. His flesh became flame, his veins fire, his bones glimmering coals, the light of his eyes heavenly brightness, his eyeballs torches of fire, his hair a flaring blaze, all his limbs and organs burning sparks, and his frame a consuming fire. To the right of him sparkled flames of fire, to the left of him burnt torches of fire, and on all sides he was girdled by storm and whirlwind, hurricane and thundering. Dana, that's possible. That's possible. You said, is this where they get Yahusha sitting at the right hand of Yah? Is it really Enoch? It's possible. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far here. I'm trying to decipher and separate, stuff, truth from error. I was taught I'm going through the process just like y'all. But what about the weather manipulation? I thought about that. I haven't gotten that far to think about that. Sounds like some of the Malakis were in their feelings about what the Most High had done by bringing the earthly beings into their presence. But he was purified before he can come before the Most High, Yahuwah's realm. Yep, you're right. Metatron. So many movies come up as you read this. Natasha, you're right. Remember how I told you how a lot, I don't know if you was here that day, it was yesterday and the day before that, where I said some of these things now understand the movies and stuff in the entertainment industry. Some of them have access to some of this stuff, and they pull their plots right out of history, out of these books. Okay. After the translation of Enoch, Methuselah was proclaimed ruler of the earth by all the kings. He walked in the footsteps of his father, teaching truth, knowledge, and a fear of Yahuwah to the children of men all his life, deviating from the path of rectitude, neither to the right nor the left. He delivered the world from thousands of demons, the posterity of Adam. Okay. We didn't read this part. Okay, so I'm going to just read this and I'm going to just read this. Okay. I forgot this was here because I didn't read this. So where y'all can. Okay. All right. Listen. Okay. After the translation of Enoch, Methuselah was proclaimed ruler of the earth by all the kings. He walked in the footsteps of his father, teaching truth, knowledge, and fear of Yahuwah to the children of men all his life, and deviating from the path of rectitude, neither to the right nor the left. He delivered the world from the thousands of demons, the posterity of Adam, which he had begotten with Lilith, that she-devil of she-devils. These demons and evil spirits, as often as they encountered a man, had sought to injure and even slay them until Methuselah appeared and supplicated the mercy of Yahuwah. He spent 3 days in fasting, and then Yahuwah gave him permission to write the ineffable name upon his sword, wherewith he slew 94 myriads of the demons in a minute, until Agrimus, the firstborn of them, came to him and entreated him to desist. At the same time, handed the names of these demons and imps over to him. And so Methuselah placed their kings in iron fetters, while the remainder fled away and hid themselves in the innermost chambers and recesses of the ocean. And it is on account of the wonderful sword by the names which the demons were killed that he was called Methuselah. He was so pious a man that he composed 230 parables in praise of Yahuwah for every word he uttered. When he died, the people heard a great commotion in the heavens, and they saw 900 rows of mourners corresponding to the 900 orders of the Mishnah which he had studied. And tears flowed from the eyes of the holy beings down upon the spot where he died. Seeing the grief of the celestials, the people on the earth also mourned over the demise of Methuselah, and Yahuwah rewarded them for it. He added 7 days' time of grace, which he had ordained before bringing destruction upon the earth by a flood of waters. Okay, beautiful people. And that was our reading for today. We read the first 8 chapters of Enoch, and then we skipped right over here to the legends of the Jews. And what is this? This is book 1. Yeah, book 1. And in the section about Enoch. So, guys, I hope you have been filled in on some missing pieces that you previously didn't know or understand about Enoch. I hope that filled it in a little bit. And there's more stuff in here. And like I said, as we read through Enoch, I'm going to pull out from here and maybe a few other places, some things that line up to help you put the pieces together if you haven't read it as much as I have, where you're readily able to access, oh yeah, that I remember that, okay, that makes sense. This goes here, because remember the books were separated and not all put together, so we're missing some stuff. So if it seemed like something is missing, I'm almost 100% sure that something is missing and you don't have that piece. So I'm sharing with you all the pieces that I've come across. Ask me questions. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. And I ain't gonna sit here in line trying to make it seem like I know. If I don't know, I'm like, look, I don't know. I'm gonna try and find out for you. Everybody look for it. We'll go over it together. We'll divide truth from error. We'll keep the meat and we'll spit out the bones. It's a growing process for everybody, y'all. Okay. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reading for today. Leave me some feedback if you haven't already. Let me pull this up. I forgot. I didn't have that up today because we were here. Uh-oh. Look. Okay. All right. I'm going over here to the blessing, y'all. We're going to go ahead and do the blessing. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I be finding out so much stuff. Okay. At least you're going to call me later. Okay. Listen. Let me tell y'all something. Now understand, I'm not sure at this point I have all the information about the Nazarite vow, but I see why now. Because I was like, okay, out of all the fruit that you could have told the Nazarite to abstain from, exactly why did you choose the grape? How befitting is it for Yahuwah to choose the Nazarite to abstain from the grape? Now I understand a little bit more than what I understood yesterday. Oh my gosh. Okay. This book is amazing. The details are amazing when you see the power of the Most High and his celestial beings. That goes to show the Malakis. If y'all don't know what Malakis are, Malakis is another word for angels. That goes to show the Malakis do have feelings like us. Same thing happened with Adam. Oh my gosh. I didn't even begin to read the half. Aliyah, some of this, it blows my mind. Like at a point yesterday, I had to stop because once remember during the reading today, I told y'all about the ministering angels and what they do. I had to stop for a minute and I had to just let that sink in. And I had to think about my life and think about the things that I've experienced. I'm like, Father, I know this to be true. I've experienced it. Some things that we just don't understand supernaturally as we grow up and things that happen. I'm just like, wait a minute. There is some truth to this. You know how there's like this inner witness on the inside of your soul that just sits deep and you know truth when you hear it, like you can feel it. It becomes a part of you and it just locks down deeper, like further in your soul. Just sit there, I ain't going nowhere, sis. Let's keep rolling. I'm like, I can't give it all to y'all today. I wish I could. Oh my gosh, if Yahuwah could just download it all to us right now. Oh my gosh, everybody could be super excited like I am about all this. Okay, but I started saying that because I said, oh, how fitting is it for Yahuwah to choose the grapevine for the Nazarite to abstain from. And I think I might bring it up. I might read that for y'all tomorrow. Trina said, I can't understand why I'm feeling excitement and joy, but also great sadness. My emotions are all over the place right now. Trina, me too. Let me tell y'all something. Okay. Here's something that I'm praying about, that I'm talking to y'all about as I've been growing over these last couple years, right? So I'm like, Father, I think I may have been wrong on a couple things as I'm getting more information. Remember how I just recently told y'all, I said, sometimes we may be missing a bit of information, so now that I understand it, what I think y'all was doing, like my foundation, he's like broke me back down to ground zero and let's rebuild you up. But the path that he took me on, he may not take everybody else on, just depending on your experience of life. Like whatever your experience is in life, he will build you up based on that and everything you need as you grow, to grow you in a proper level so you don't miss a step. So some things I think had to be broken down for me so I can realize that Yahuwah alone is the only one that we should give our praise and our adoration to. Nobody else are we to praise. And that's why I believe he took me on the path that he took me, so that I can understand that when I open my mouth to give praise, I open my mouth and only give praise to him, the creator of heaven and earth, and nobody else, right? So I said that because I'm not quite sure, but I'm like, okay, Father, you gotta lead me how's that? Because if I made a mistake somewhere and if I said something wrong to somebody, I need to fix this like post haste, because I don't want to lead anybody astray. I say, help me. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to just slow down sometime and just let it sink in and let Yahuwah finish with the whole revelation with me until it's all the way through and I know I'm 100% on. But y'all been here long enough. Y'all know I get super excited about everything. And as soon as I hear something I want to share with y'all, I'm like, hey, look, so I'm like, okay, Father, I don't want you to take the excitement from me. I said, but I need some wisdom. I need balance to make sure that I don't say something before the time I have the complete understanding of something. So I'm learning now some things I'm gonna just be quiet on stuff. Yes, there is no one before him. After him, there is no savior but him. Yes, and I got Natasha, you right. And all them scriptures I had to pull out, constantly pull out where Yahuwah say, I am Israel's savior. Oh my gosh, it gets into detail on how he chose Israel for himself. Y'all, like I said, if y'all can get this, because y'all can probably go through it a lot faster than I'm going to be able to read some of these parts to y'all based on what's in here and who the audience is and who's listening. If you just want all the information now, order the book, read it. So when we go through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to do it in a way where no one is being injured in the process because they're lacking information, right? So I want to make sure we fill in some steps. That's why I do so much. I ain't going to say ad-libbing, but I pause and I make sure you understand certain places. And you may already understand it, but I'll stop and I explain places where I myself have personally had issues, and I'll give you the understanding that, I had for it, make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay, Tiffany, you're welcome. All right, sis, have a good day at work. But we about to go anyway, y'all. So remember, the first 21 verses of Numbers is the Nazarite vow. Like I said, I understand now why he chose the grape for the Nazarite to abstain from. All right, so the first 21 verses is the Nazarite vow. Remember, man or woman can take that vow. And the last few verses from verses 22 through 27 is the blessing. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, on this wise, ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, may Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. Thanks for joining in today. Thanks for putting up with my excitement and screaming and all this stuff. But I'll be super excited to share the word of Yah with anybody who will listen. All right, y'all. Love y'all. And I see y'all bright and early in the morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.